Ayubowan, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Northern Wall, your weekly talk show with me, your host, Kayla Malari. I think my dog was breathing under my door, and it really scared me. But anyways, welcome back. Hi, look at my new cool hair that matches all of the artwork Sonali's been doing for this year. This is compliments of Jay. He's a great stylist out in Manhattan Beach. Manhattan. What's that accent? But anyways, this is a perfect hair color. I washed it for the first time today, which is cool because the purple toned the bleach and it made my hair white. But then this side has like other, wait, where you can't see it. This side has like all the hot pink over there. It's perfect hair for this series, which is the Astrology series. Now, thank you all. The Astrology series, this is part 3 of that series. Now, I know I've actually asked my patrons for the Core Dance Crew what we should talk about for part 3, and they had a lot of really great suggestions, but I'm going to save them for next week leading up to Thanksgiving. They wanted to delve more into what the houses were, what the planets meant, what your rising and what your moon sign was in correlation with your sun sign, and to get more into that, which is really cool because I do have a couple of books. This one I got from one of my friends, The Astrology of You and Me, talks about relationships and everything amongst the signs. It's a really cool read, but I didn't have time to go through and pick out the parts that I wanted to talk about. We can't talk about every single sign in depth because I get bored. So I'm going to pick highlights from that. So next week, we'll get more into kind of the science of it and where that science comes from. This week, I thought we'd have fun. And my bro TP suggested something because we've talked about this before, but we've talked about the signs in situations. So one of the things that we always would reference, and it was always funny, and she brought up, she was like, say what the signs are at a party, which is actually really funny because they're very indicative of what makes, I just saw Soulmates comment, you got nebula head. I'm so mad. But what the signs would do at a party, which we will get into because they are indicative of how the signs are as personalities in the real world. But I remember that there's a lot of, yes, Sarah, there's like the signs at a con or the signs as this. And so one of my favorite things to look at are these astrology memes. So while I'll go into my version of things, we're going to go into some memes that I found. And we're going to kind of talk about if again, my personal perspective, if I think they're right, or if I think they're wrong. And there is no right and wrong. There may be a right, but I don't care if I'm wrong. So we're going to go into that. The first one, and I know you won't be able to read these, but just listen to my lovely man voice and you'll be fine. So what's this first one? Oh, the signs as types of kids. So I actually have this pulled up. It's very hard to read on mine, but it's okay. I'll read it out to you. Where is this document that I have? She was prepared and then she wasn't prepared. Oh, it's the only hidden one. All right. So the signs as types of kids. So let's do this. Here we go. Aries, the playground monarch. Now that is very true. That actually coincides with the whole leadership aspect of Aries, but also kind of how they kind of take control, impulsive control. They're usually the first ones out at recess and the first one to start doing something. They kind of want their friends to join them, but regardless of if their friends are joining them, they'll probably still do that. Does it say menace or monarch? I say monarch, but it might be menace because that's also true. Taurus, drooled during nap time. I mean, Tauri love nap time. Tauri love to get good sleep. So, I mean, but yes. Gemini, killed the class fish. Oh no, like 12 times and their parents keep replacing it. Oh, poor fish. Yeah, a Gemini is kind of a little spaz. Yeah, so especially a Gemini kid, like I said, They move at a faster pace. Their brain is just going faster. They probably got too excited. They probably thought the class fish was, the class guinea pig and thought like, maybe I could play with it. Fun fact, fish do jump out of their bowls. That's why you need a lid on it. My sister's fish, Phil, we found him in her bed when we were kids because it jumped out of the bowl and into her bed. And it was just there. It's horrifying. That's a horrifying thing to find. So maybe that's what happened to all the Geminis. Maybe the fish just jumped out of the bowl. Ugh. Cancer, cried when the class watched The Lion King. Okay, first of all, we all cried when we watched The Lion King, so lay off the Cancers. But also, yes, they probably cried watching The Lion King the 8th time they've watched The Lion King. Just because every time Simba pulls on his dad's ear when his dad's already dead, that little pull, it gets you every time. Leo, what is this? Bossy kid with well-coordinated outfits. And I can't read this. What does this say? Am I really this blind? Oh, that didn't help. And is picked up by their mom? What does that say? Maybe my eyes are just really bad. Okay, Leo, bossy kid. Yes, Leos need to... They're not like leaders in the sense, but they do like being the center of attention. And they like coordinating when they're in the center of attention. So they like to tell people what to do. So they're probably the team captains of kickball. Yeah, I read Rosie too, but it says bossy kid with well-coordinated outfits. I mean, I went to a private school, so... Although, that's funny, because I'd say, at a private school, of course they have well-coordinated outfits. But there were some kids who went to private school and wore uniforms, and their outfits didn't coordinate. And they looked kind of crazy. And I was definitely one of those kids. So, Leos, you're killing the game, I guess. I don't know. And headbands picked out by their mom. Headbands? Oh, headbands. I went towards a sweatband. And I'm like, kids wear sweatbands to school? Headband. Got it. Yeah. Yes, Leos are very well dressed. Virgo. Kid that rolls their eyes when... What is that? Asks a stupid question. I'm reading amoeba. It says when someone asks a stupid question. I mean, but the Virgos roll their eyes regardless. The Virgos would roll their eyes if it wasn't a stupid question. So, I mean, Virgos are just rolling their eyes. Those eyes in the back of the head. Libra, everyone's friend because they share at snack time. Oh my gosh, yes, they do. Libras will always share. Libras are the kings and queens of sharing. They will always be, they're the ones who bring the goldfish and share their goldfish. They're the ones that bring the entire box of Cheez-Its to school and then open the box and then it's like, free for all. Eat it. Gosh, you gotta love Libras. Scorpio, they eat glue. I don't agree with that. Because if I think about the Scorpios I know, I feel like they're the ones who got mad at the kid for eating glue. Because they were like, that's not... Like, if you're going to go hardcore. But, like, don't eat the glue. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think it's opposite. Scorpios didn't eat the glue. They disapproved of glue eaters. Sagittarius, the popular kid with stickers and cool folders. Oh yeah. The Sagittarius kid had like the Lisa Frank stickers. The Sagittarius kid was the first kid to get ballpoint pens when the rest of us were still working with mechanical pencils. The Sagittarius kid had the pencil box that was way too large that everyone had with the little bumps at the top, and then you like colored in the indents. Yeah, That was a Sagittarius kid. Capricorn, the teacher's favorite, always volunteered to help during class. Maybe not the teacher's favorite, but yes to always volunteering to help during class. I feel like a lot of Capricorns they're not quintessentially Hermione Granger. They're not the ones throwing their hands up in the air every single time. They're the rest of the Slytherins in Slytherin house. They're just sitting back and doing their work and just being good kids, in general. Aquarius, Pokemon card dealer in the playground. Yes, but also the Aquarius is, and I learned this teaching after school programs, they are the tahine dealers. So there's a snack time that happens after school, right before after school program. And so the kids sit around and they have these like prepackaged snacks. And there's always tahine, a little packet of tahine with like a fruit or a vegetable, something that they could put like cucumbers. They'd always have tahine. And there was this one kid in every school. He was totally the Aquarius. And he was the tahine dealer. Like, he would gather all the tahine and literally have it in his pocket. And I forget, one of the kids at King, I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I have all the tahine. And he like pulled out, and he was literally trading tahine for like the little Goldfish made these graham crackers and Goldfish, but they were like graham crackers. They were like dessert crackers, so they were really good. So he would trade tahine packets for these Goldfish dessert crackers. Like a little worrisome, but also what a great little entrepreneur. I don't know. He was an Aquarius. And then Pisces, best friends with the class fish and kind of confused as to why it looks different every time Gemini brings it back. Oh! That's so true. Poor Pisces. Gemini is just like, ugh. And poor Pisces was probably the one who's talking to the fish and writing in the journal about how the fish's day was. That's really funny and sad. Oh my gosh. I haven't read these clearly before this, so that one was great. Oh, Pisces, you sad little butts. Little Pisces butts. All right, let's see what this next one is. So that was types of kids. Now we're going into, Zodiacs at the restaurant. This one's really funny, actually. Let's see if I can read it. Oh, why? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to find this on I can barely read this on here. To jump the gun in front of me. Let's see. Here we go. I'm gonna pull it up so that I can just read this. Okay, now I can read it. Bam. Zodiacs at the restaurant. Okay, let me pull it up for you guys now. Nope, that one. Haha. Zodiacs at the restaurant. Aries resists the urge to flip over the table when the wrong dish arrives. Yes. I will say I've seen soulmate be like this at restaurants, but she has a very good reason, because she'll probably tell the waiter or waitress that she's allergic to like broccoli and cinnamon and all that jazz. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And then they'll probably give her cinnamon covered broccoli and just ready to kill her. And she's like, yeah, you can't give that to me. So yes, resist the urge to flip over the table when the wrong dish arrives. Yes. Taurus, I'll have my usual. Oh yeah, because the Tauri was at that restaurant numerous times and they didn't change their order. They got the same thing, and they loved that thing and they won't change from that thing. They're very steadfast and true. Gemini, can't decide what to order, so ask waiter to surprise me. Oh my gosh, I've literally sat with the Geminis in my life, and that's exactly what they say. Yosh is a Gemini. He does it all the time. Amy has done that before, just because they're like, you know what, I'm willing to see what everyone's favorite is. That is so true of Gemini. Oh my gosh. Cancer gathers up everyone's dirty plates and silverware for the waiter. No. I've never seen a Cancer do that. They don't care. I mean, at least when they're out, like they would do that if they were at someone's house, but not at a restaurant. At a restaurant, no. A Virgo would do that, not a Cancer. What? I don't agree. Leo tries to sit at the head of a circular table. Yes. We went to dinner once. We've never been to dinner before, ever since then. But we went to dinner once, and it was like core people. We were going to go watch a movie. And then I don't know why we went to this restaurant so far away from the theater. But we were in those like half booth, half table dealios. And they were like small tables, but they were all lined up. And JK was at the very, very far end. He did not like that because he had a lot to contribute to the conversation. And it didn't matter if we were on a different part of the conversation. It didn't matter if we were past this subject in the conversation. It didn't matter if what he was talking about was not what the rest of us were talking about. He was trying so hard to pull a conversation back to him and like leaning so far over the table with his hand raised so far out. And we were like, yes, kitty, we see you. We hear you. So yeah, Leo trying to sit at the head of a circular table or trying to be in the center of a long table when they're at the end. It's definitely true. Virgo could have done with a tad less rosemary. Oh my gosh, that's all the Virgos. They nitpick at the details. It's not it's not always in like oh, I hated it. Not never, but sometimes it's not even in like, oh, that could have been better. They just always have to find one detail that could have been more or less. More or less in whatever they're eating. Every single Virgo I know. Oh, it could have been a little, could have been kind of, could have been. And I'm like, and I could agree with them. I'm probably agreeing with them, but they'll find that one thing it's too much or too little of. Oh, Virgos. And then also gathering up dirty plates and silverware for the waiter. Libra. Waiter introduces himself. Guys, I think the waiter's flirting with me. Yes. Oh my God. Oh, I love our Libras. I've only ever heard that phrase. I think the blah, blah, blah is hitting on me from a Libra. That's hilarious. That is so, I mean, they probably are. And they probably aren't. Scorpio gazes into the romantic candlelight and imagines who they'd burn. Oh, crap. Like, not in a vicious way. They imagine someone burning, more like in a curious way. Because they're not evil. They just have such dark thoughts. And they're probably like, yeah, I wonder who would I burn here? And they say it with such calm consideration. And you're like, oh, we're eating. Can you not? Sagittarius. I don't know how to say this. I had cacio e pepe like this when I lived in Rome for 3 weeks. Oh, yes. Sagittarius has always tried whatever food you're eating in the native country or by a native of that country or the original version of that dish. And we'll tell you about it. I've had Sagittarius friends who was like, oh yeah, I had pho with authentic vermicelli that was made from a little like Vietnamese man who came down from the mountains 3 years ago and he lives in my basement. And you're like, is that real? And the thing is, it probably is. It probably is real. They probably met this weird mountain man who made them pho authentically from like a goat. I don't know how you make pho from a goat, but a Sag will figure it out. Capricorn configures a way to split the bill 14 ways. No, I usually make someone else do that. I say me. And other Capricorns, we actually go the other way. We don't think about splitting the bill. Every Capricorn I've ever eaten dinner with, we usually be like, you know what if I just pay for it and then everyone just Venmo me? Figure out what your portion is, just Venmo me. Because it's like about efficiency. It's not about, that's about evenness. We're not about evenness. We'll be like, you know what, it's just, Efficient. We need to get out of here. We probably have somewhere else to go. And then Aquarius overhears waiter being mistreated by another table and leaps to his defense. No, no Aquarius has ever leapt to anyone's defense. No, not leapt. I mean, they'll defend them, but haven't leapt. No. An Aquarius will probably hear the waiter being mistreated. Then that waiter will leave. And then the Aquarius will now engage with the person who is mistreating the waiter and be genuinely curious as to how they became so rude. And in their questioning, they actually end up making that person who mistreated the waiter feel really bad about themselves. And their curiosity actually, in turn, taught them a lesson. But yeah, no, they're not going to leap to their defense. No, they're just going to Aquarius someone into submission is what's going to happen. And then Pisces, I love the vibes in here. Forgets to look at the menu. Oh my God. So many Pisces have always been like, I love the aesthetic. I love the lighting. Oh my gosh, look at how the drinks are. I mean, they appreciate the style of the restaurant, but you're like Pisces. Or they'll like start engaging in deep conversation and you're like, oh my gosh, you know what you want to order? The rest of us are so hungry. Pisces are always the last one to order, or they don't care what's ordered for them. They'll also be like Gemini. They'll be like, they'll probably close the menu and be like, chef's choice. Because they're too busy appreciating everything around them. Oh, Pisces. Oh, Pisces. All right, that one was pretty funny. That one was pretty hilarious. All right, Zodiacs at the restaurant. Okay. On to the next one. These are hilarious, y'all. How long it takes to understand the signs. Oh my gosh. We're going to have a field day. All right. Aries, 15 minutes. I'm trying to think if that's how long it takes. I mean, yeah, like a normal amount of time. They probably like normal. I don't know. I feel like Aries are pretty normal when you're trying to understand them. Like they get their point across to you and you're like, cool. Great. Taurus, 1 month. Because a Taurus isn't forthright with what they're thinking. They will give you either hints or it took them a month to get their point across. Or they just didn't tell you anything and you just got to figure it out. It took you a month to figure it out. Gemini, 6 months. I feel like it's because it's the other way around. It takes you 6 months because they just talked about a lot of things and you're not even quite sure what the original context was. So it takes you 6 months to be like, wait, we started talking about cheese and now we've ended up on whether or not organized religion is better for us than a separation of church and state. And you're like, so what's their favorite cheese? And it took you 6 months to figure it out because it took you that 6 months was just so many conversations that happened. Cancer, 2 weeks. Yeah. Cancers are salty. They can get real salty and they can sit on that salt and they'll just keep it inside under their little shell for 2 weeks. I've actually used that timeline with Rawson. I'm like, he'll bring something up from 2 weeks ago. And I laugh because there's no prompt for it. There's absolutely no prompt. We'll just be driving and he'll just say something. And I'm like, did you just remember that from 2 weeks ago? I don't think we were talking about that. He'll be like, yeah, but I was just thinking about it. I'm like, why? When? Has nothing to do with anything. 2 weeks for a Cancer. Leo, 1 hour. Yeah, they're pretty forthright with how they feel. And they're very, and they're very, not polarizing, but they can switch very easily. They feel very passionately. And so they kind of like how they are within the next hour, it can change. They can be sad 1 second and then they can be like really energetic the next. And it takes that hour to really understand how they feel. Yeah. Virgo, 2 months. It's kind of like the same as a Taurus in the sense where Virgos will tell you, here's the thing, Virgos will tell you a lot of information and you have to dig through that information to find out the little warm center of what they're saying and the inside. There's so much detail and so much particularness that you have to be like, what? 2 months sitting in a room with like the red yarn going from picture to picture to figure out a Virgo. Libra, 3 years. Oh, they're so like artsy and romantic and they can't really decide on how they feel. And they're just, oh my gosh, 3 years. That's hilarious. Oh, little Libras. You little nuggets. Scorpio, 1 year. I feel like no. Scorpio takes a long time to understand. I don't think it's 1 year. You need a long time to understand a Scorpio. Like in depth, it takes a long time to, one, break through to a Scorpio to let them open up to you. But two, when you talk to Rio, her mind is so complex that when she translates, happy birthday, Rio, when she translates her thoughts of her mind out through her words, they go through so many different filters that it's kind of just word scramble out here, and the rest of us, it's like an anagram. You just gotta rearrange it and figure out what she's saying. But you know, Sagittarius, 1 week. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of like Aries in the sense where they're pretty straight up. I don't know where the week's coming from. Maybe it took you a week of hanging out with a Sagittarius for them to tell you about all their travels. They've been around a lot of places. Yeah, they go abroad. Capricorn, eternity. I mean, you'll never understand a Capricorn. Capricorns don't understand themselves. So, what's the point? Aquarius, 3 months. I'm going to put never. You'll never understand an Aquarius. Ever. Never, ever. It is never, ever. Pisces, 1.5 hours. Why 1.5? I would say Pisces, it takes a night of long conversation. No, you still won't understand them. Gosh. How many days has it been? It takes like 3 months of consistent engagement with a Pisces before you understand them. Consistent is the key word. Consistent. If they're not crying, if they're crying, 1.5 hours. I mean, Kai, we could understand her in a second. If she loved something, she was probably crying, and it was great. So that one, I don't know. I don't know if I really agreed with that one so much. I don't know what you guys feel, but let's move on. Oh, I think this is my favorite one. Yes, the signs of Disney princesses. Oh my gosh. Aries, Mulan, of course. Who has the impulsive balls to just chop off her hair and join a military where women weren't allowed? Mulan does. And Aries does. I mean, and then immediately once she gets there, she's like, I don't think I did this too rashly. I don't think I should do it. I don't think I should do it. And then goes, no, I'm going to do it anyways. That is so an Aries. Aries is, I'm going to do it. I don't know if I should do it. Oh, I'm going to do it. Wait. I'm not ready. Screw it. I'm just going to do it. Yep. That's an Aries, is definitely Mulan. And then kind of like kills it. Yeah. And then ends up leading everyone to defeat the Huns. Yep. Taurus, Aurora. Okay. The only reason they did that was because Aurora's asleep. Rude. But also, I guess you could argue Aurora, it was considered, the most beautiful. And she's got the nicest clothes. I mean, who didn't love her blue pink dress? Also, a Taurus would prick their finger on a spindle that's by itself in an attic, the tallest tower of an abandoned castle, surrounded by thorns in the depths of a dark forest. A Taurus would find a way. Gemini, Jasmine. Oh yeah. Jasmine had a mind of her own, so definitely, and did not want to conform to what it was to be a princess in Agrabah. Yeah. She was definitely Gemini. Polka? Polka is a Cancer? Polka is a Cancer. Polka as a Cancer had a lot of emotions, had a lot of feelings about the plants and the animals, and about people and these colonizers that came to her country. I mean, we know that the Disney version is a very, very, very watered down story of Polka, but Polka was definitely a Cancer, having all of that empathy for even their enemy. I mean, come on. Let's see. Leo is Ariel. Ah, that show pony, yes. The star of the Singing Sisters, yes. That red hair that's voluminous when all of the rest of her sisters had brown and blonde hair, yes. The only one who did not match her shell bra to her fin, yes, that's a Leo. Gave up her voice to gain legs to be with a guy, kind of a Leo. But then also totally got the guy in the end. Like, good job, Leo. Did it, like, the most dramatic. Everything was so dramatic. It was like, I have to go stop Eric on a boat, and the only way I can do that is if my one fish friend, who's all of this big, drags these 2 barrels that I'm holding onto. Like, they couldn't get a boat. They couldn't get a boat. They live in a harbor, and the wedding boat was right out there. Also, they had a wedding boat ready. That didn't make sense. But yeah, Leo would be like, oh my God, I have to get all these barrels and I have to swim out to this boat. And someone else was like, there's a rowboat right behind you. Okay, never mind. Let's go. Am I loading? Is something wrong? Are you all hearing me? I see loading signs. Everything's all right on my end. Okay, I'm going to assume you can all hear me still. So I'm going to keep going. Let's move on to Virgo's Belle. Oh yeah. The prince. I used to love Belle. Okay. Side note, Virgos, if you're Belle, my very first time doing orientation at Disney, it was completely different from the second time. But in the last day of orientation, everyone went into the big theater that you started the orientation in. And we were going to see the final video, and we were going to get our IDs and our badges and everything. But we were waiting for everyone else to join because there were so many orientation groups. And while we were waiting, a bunch of us were in the audience, and one of our leads was like, okay, everyone tell us your favorite character and why. So everyone was like standing up and telling their favorite character. And I stood up, and at that time, this was years ago, this was before Tiana. Years ago, I was like, oh, Belle's my favorite because she was the only princess who ever like read a book, because I loved reading books. And everyone was like, ooh, burn. And I remember going, wait, why? I didn't mean it as a burn. I mean, did you ever watch any of the other princesses read a book? No. Even Sleeping Beauty, she like brought a book out with her and then danced with an owl in someone's stolen cloak. Like, Belle read a book. So that's why I liked Belle. Belle is also a Virgo, which is also probably why I like Belle. She was very, like, only a Virgo could lecture their captor on manners. Like, he didn't have to be nice to her. And she and her dad broke into his palace. And then she lectured him on manners. And he could have just been like, no. So only a Virgo would ever do that. And then look past the beastie exterior to find the prince underneath. I don't know. I mean, it's funny because when you watch Beauty and the Beast, when he turns into the prince, I thought he looked better as a beast. That's just me. He was fluffier as a beast. Yeah, his hair was too, I don't know. I always thought that was weird. It was too weird. He looked like a human too late in the game, which sounds stupid because that's the whole point, is you're not supposed to see his human form. But then he turned around and I was like, you look like Merida's older brother. You know what I mean? Anyways. Virgo, you're Belle. I like you. Libra is definitely Esmeralda. Oh my gosh. Esmeralda, who's like, 1, bomb dancer, 2, absolutely stunning, had great hair, 3, was like, didn't care about their status or whatnot, didn't care that she was probably one of the impoverished classes, still gave money to people, still like gave to those less fortunate than her, definitely would have been the only princess to whose, animal companion was a goat, and would definitely at her own burning still cry for justice and like start a movement at her own burning. Her own burning. A Libra at their own burning would be like, I'm still gonna fight the power, because that's in their minds. They're like, this is all symbolic. I'm gonna use this. And you're like, oh my gosh, Libra, wait, but first, like, don't die. Like, this is, I know justice, but also don't die. Maybe yell don't die first. And then Libra will still, rock a good outfit and fit a dance in there somewhere. During the battle, fit a dance. Like at least a dance move. Maybe fight with dance moves. That's a Libra. Scorpio. Megara. Oh my God. Who didn't? First of all, who doesn't love Meg? Second of all, when you find out Meg's story and why she's indebted to Hades, you're like, that's a Scorpio. Like, comes off as super chill, super capable, independent. Nothing's too like under the surface, very nonchalant. And then you realize it's because Scorpio Megara has been hurt way harsher in the past and has tried to learn from her mistakes and is trying to do better this time. And so tries to keep herself at a distance so that she can just bide her time and, not be indebted to the Lord of the Underworld. But then, of course, their soft underbelly, beyond their harsh shell and their harsh stinger, you realize, oh my gosh, they do anything for someone. They die for the person they love. And you're like, oh my God, Megara's a Scorpio. I loved Meg. She also had a cool hip thing that perfectly fit with her. The way she sat into that hip. I just really liked that thing. It was cool. Sagittarius. Merida? Sagittarius is Merida when she's climbing the waterfall for a drink of water at like the very beginning of the movie. She's climbing a waterfall. Low-key, I also really love Merida's dress. It just looks so comfortable. But climbing a waterfall for a drink of water, like she couldn't be at the bottom to get that drink of water. She had to be like closer to the mid-top for that drink of water. Yes, that is a Sagittarius. Willing to go to unnecessary danger. It's like, it's beautiful out here. And you're like, Sag, come down. You have a country to run. And they're like, I want to be free. Like the fear of Merida having to conform to what her role was as a princess is Sag's fear of being tied down to one place for too long. They're like, commitment. No, unless it's my choice. It has to be their choice. Their choice to settle down and their choice of adventure. Capricorn, T. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she is T. T is a Capricorn. I mean, almost there is our mantra. That's our song. You spend your whole life heading towards your goals. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. You're going to do it. Working like what? How many jobs does she work? Like 3-4 jobs? Girl. And then turns into a frog and like taken out to the middle of the bayou and just like, all right, this might as well happen. And then makes their way back home and then saves the prince. I don't know. Everything about Tiana is such a Capricorn. And then she, at the end, she still buys the place she wanted with her own money. After everything she's been through, as long as she gained a bunch of money at the end, she still used all of the money from her hard work. And then she holds up a hammer and then she makes her and her new husband rebuild and renovate their place. Like, even to the end, she was like, oh, no. There's I'm still making my happily ever after. Like, nothing changed. I'm still working hard. Like, T, girl, where's your break? Oh, what a Capricorn. Okay, Cinderella is an Aquarius. Do you know why? First of all, she just kind of took everything. She kind of just took the abuse of her stepmother and her stepsisters and was like, oh yeah, I'll clean for you guys. And sometimes with Aquarius, I'm like, just say something. Just stand up for yourself. And they're like, no, but if it's just easier, if I just do it, I'll just do it. And you're like, Aquarius, no. Aquarius, no. Aquarius would legitimately, I believe it to this day, if any Aquarius shows up with like something new clothes, a new iPhone, they probably got it from their forest friends. They're not even from the forest. It's like mice from the, framework of their old house and the birds that lived in the tree outside her window. And like, they would find so much content, happiness. That scene where she's cleaning with the bubbles and she's like fixing her hair in the bubble. Like, they just find joy in this simple act. First of all, Aquarius love bubbles, but they would find joy in that. And then they do something amazing, something ridiculously courageous, which is just have a fairy godmother and trust, and then go to a ball with a beautiful dress and then lose their shoe. I mean, like, an Aquarius is so, you would look at them and be like, how? It fit when you left. It fit the whole night. Like, you didn't lose it the whole night. And then at the last second, you walking down the street, you walked right out of your shoe. I mean, I can't knock them. I've totally done that before. I actually did that the other day. I walked straight out of my shoe. But hey, I'm not an Aquarius and I'm not Cinderella. But she walked right out of her shoe. And you look at Aquarius and be like, what are you doing? And then Aquarius would go back to get it, have enough time and be like, I'm running out of time. Because they don't want to be late. Aquarius hate being late. They hate being late. They really hate being late. So even though she had time to go get her shoe, she didn't have time to go get her shoe. No. And then was fine that she didn't have a shoe. Gosh, Cinderella's so weird. Pisces as Snow White. First of all, yes, in the sense where Snow White was the original princess and Pisces is like the oldest sign in the Zodiac. So yeah, like the original, like the OG, Pisces is Snow White. Pisces is also the one who, like, there's a part of you that looks at Snow White and you're like, girl, just leave the castle and do something else. Like, if we're not Once Upon a Time Snow White, we're talking about like original Disney Snow White, where she was just like, my stepmother hates me, and then like disappears and I'm chased by a hunter and I go into the forest and now I'm alone in the forest. This is okay. And then I'll find a cabin with these little dwarves. I don't think that's weird at all. And I'll get accepted by them. Yeah. And then would also just die. Pisces would just die, but would be okay because they also strangely knew they were going to come back to life. Because Pisces is death. Pisces is the end of the astrological timeline. So why not, Snow White, you're such a troll. All right, so that was really fun. I liked all of those. This one's a favorite, of course, which if I'm going off of Corpsman as zodiac signs, it's pretty accurate. All right. So you have Aries. This is the signs when a serial killer is in the house. I've actually seen this one before. And it's pretty funny. Aries literally doesn't care and just sits on the couch chilling. No. No. I've never met a single Aries that would do that. Every single Aries I know, if I'm thinking. Soulmate's the only Aries on court right now, but I know so many Aries at Disney, and I know so many Aries at Knott's, and I know a lot of Aries at Barnes & Noble. No, every single one of them. They screamed when everyone else came home. Every Aries was on alert when everyone came home. So if a serial killer, they were gone long ago. They were gone when Taurus came home. Taurus runs into the kitchen and fiercely guards the fridge. No. Taurus, I think most of the Tauri I know would kind of just bound head first into the serial killer. Gemini makes jokes with the killer. Then the killer realizes Gemini is cool and they go out to McDonald's. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Every Gemini I know, yeah. I think. And like in all their different ways. One would be like super engaging. One's just like super chill. One is just, it just had a great conversation with them. One was super understanding. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Gemini would. Cancer tries to hide. What is that? Oh, tries to hide but starts crying and gets found. Yes. Not necessarily crying, but you can put crying and also like slight panic next to each other and they would get found out. Leo pretends not to be scared, but kind of is. Still strategically makes it out of the house, though. Yes. Joseph, when he gets scared, he gets very scared, but he like tries to hold it in. So it's usually a silent pose, usually a jazz pose. And we'll figure out a way to work past the fear to escape. So I agree with that. Virgo loses their pardon my language, loses their shit, but defends themselves well. Yes, Virgo went insane, full insane. It's just probably screaming crazy, but also like self-defensing like mad. And I think they blitz the serial killer. The serial killer's a little like in Scream, in the first Scream, when Sydney kind of goes crazy to fight back. FP's character. Oh my God, what is his name? I forget his name. But the killer, one of the killers, and she's just like screaming. That's Virgo and kind of flailing. Libra alternates to. What does that say? Oh, not alternates. Attempts to put up a fight, but falls down the stairs, or trips over a cat and ends up getting caught. Oh yeah. Oh, Libra. It would be something really, really out of their control and kind of random that would get in their way. I'm sorry, Libras. Scorpio kills the killer. Yes. Whether it be by accident or on purpose, the Scorpio killed the killer. Sagittarius makes small talk with the killer and then ends up becoming the killer's accomplice. Yes. Because Sagittarius, they would understand a killer, which is weird, but they would understand. And you're like, no, Sag, this isn't where the optimism silver lining comes in. You're not supposed to empathize, not even empathize. You're not supposed to like know their perspective and understand it. This is not, get out of here. Capricorn is the killer. I mean, yeah, if it's not Virgo, it's gotta be Cap. Aquarius screams, make me a sandwich, asshole, at the killer. Either that, or they yell bazinga, or any other phrase that's just so random. And that is the end of their story. We don't know if they survive. Pisces just stands there frozen. Legit just doesn't move. I feel like not frozen in like either frozen in horror or frozen kind of like how Aries is supposed to be. Most of the Pisces I know just kind of like look and are like, what? There's half of them are in terror. The other half are just like, what are you? What are you doing here? Like they don't quite comprehend the concept of a serial killer. So yeah, that was a fun one. And so to end this series of different versions, Bro TV asked me, name all the signs and how they'd be at a party. And I really considered this. I considered the signs at a party. And so I want you to come with me on this journey and imagine this party with the different signs of the Zodiac. So you go to this party. It's probably a beautiful party, this grand house. And you walk in the door. Everyone's there. You're kind of coming at the perfect time where you're just like fashionably late, but not too late that you were forgotten. You walk through the door and the first thing you hear is your name screamed at the top of the lungs of someone. And you look over and it's Aries. Aries will always get so excited to see you. Aries will yell your name from across the room. Aries will run up to you and you will automatically feel welcomed at the party. Aries will tell you how much they miss you, even if they just saw you at the Starbucks right before this party. And then Aries will probably tell you how another one of your friends is there and they'll bring you into the party to go meet with that person that you haven't seen in a long time. Aries is your first greeter at the party. Aries already knows where everyone is. Aries has run the party circuit, knows the layout of everything. So Aries is guiding you in. You start heading through this beautiful house and you look into the living room and you see that it's pretty lit. There's either a whole like karaoke singing going on, or there's like a full dance battle scene that you see in every teen movie. And if it's the dance scene, the DJ that's like popping over there, or even working the iPod, who has an iPod anymore? The iPod is Libra. Or if it's karaoke, Libra has the booklet and is kind of like saying the best songs to do, encouraging people to sing, being like, oh my gosh, you're going to do great. They're the ones who are fueling the entertainment. They're the one who's actually the entertainment. At the center of it all is Leo. If it's karaoke, Leo is singing all the top karaoke songs. They're singing My Heart Will Go On. They're singing I Honestly Love You. They're singing every Barbra Streisand. They're singing Madonna's La Isla Bonita, okay? They're singing all the Filipino favorites. They're singing Let It Go, even though they did it ironically, but actually they like really want to show you that they're good. Or if it's a dance battle, Leo, whether it's good or they're trying to be funny, they are so entertaining. They're taking everything Libra's giving them and they're making it funny and interesting. It's a show. Leo's putting on the show. Now, you pass the living room, you go into the kitchen. In the kitchen, there's good old Virgo. Good old Virgo is making sure that the snacks are filled. Good old Virgo is making sure all the dishes aren't piling up too much. They're rinsing them out and they're putting them in the dish rack. Good old Virgo is the one who's asking everyone, what do you guys want to order? Because the food's starting to get low, but they want to make sure that everyone eats and everyone eats good food. So if you're going to order for pizza or if you're going to order out for something, Virgo's like, okay, let me just get a head count. How much food are we going to eat? Are we going to split it? Virgo's organizing. It's not Virgo's party, mind you. It's not Virgo's party. But Virgo is organizing. Now, while Virgo's trying to figure out what everyone wants to eat, Virgo's trying to think of what's most efficient, what works for everyone else, what's generally liked, because they're trying to think of all the details. They're like, well, that person doesn't like this, that person likes that. We can't get anything that's too specific. We got to keep it a little bit more general to appease the masses. But Taurus is in there. Taurus is in the kitchen, eating the snacks like out of Virgo's hand. And Taurus is like, instead of pizza, can we get like, what about we got like all you can eat sushi? What if we like ordered sushi in? Or like, let's get some catering from Chipotle. I love Chipotle. And they're like, hey, can we like open up like the good wine? But also, what if we left the party and we went to Korean barbecue? And everyone's like, Taurus, we just got here. We have to at least be here long enough to be part of the party. But also, of course, Taurus, we want to go to Korean barbecue. And Taurus is already searching for the closest and best Korean barbecue places. Even as Virgo's like, wait, but we still need food down. They're like, oh no, yeah, I totally get it. Still looking. And it has to be bougie. It can't be like the, oh, $10 all you can eat. They want the ones where you're paying per plate and it's like the good meats. It's the good meats. It's the good japchae. And they want some soju in the mix. Now, with Taurus in there and Virgo doing all the food things, you need to find the rest of your friends. So you start to head out to the backyard because you see there's like a gaggle of people in the backyard. In the doorway to the backyard, not inside, not outside, in the doorway, Gemini catches you. Gemini catches you and just asks you, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's up? And now you are stuck in this doorway for the next 3 hours, catching up with Gemini. You don't realize it's been 3 hours. You don't intend to keep this conversation going for as long as it's going, but for some reason, you just keep talking with Gemini. And you're in the most obtrusive place. People have to walk through you. You can't, you're not going to move out of the doorway. What? That's ridiculous. You're just going to have this lengthy conversation of catching up, touching base, seeing where they are. They're seeing where you are with Gemini in the doorway. Now 3 hours have passed. You finally, Gemini's got to go find, other Gemini. You go outside and there's a jam session going on around this fire pit that you didn't even know this house had, but you're like, wow, super pushy. There's a fire pit outside. Everyone's having a jam session and it's Sagittarius with either an acoustic guitar or like a ukulele or like a flute or a recorder or something. Hell, a bass. I don't know. Sagittarius is holding this jam session. Sagittarius plays some arbitrary random instrument or found a random instrument around, tuned it, to however they need to tune it and started playing. And everyone's joined in, and now they're just having a jam session outside. Because that's what it is. And you're like, I'm feeling this. And you notice in the corner of the backyard, in like the darker corner, kind of far off, there's always those two people that are having an unnecessary but totally intense one-on-one conversation. Like there's a whole party with people around, but it's just them. They're over there. They're connecting mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They're delving deep. They're really getting into the nitty-gritty. They're building a true friendship over talking about all their fears, all their dark thoughts, all their shadows. And when you squint and you look hard enough, you realize, oh, that is Cancer and Pisces. Cancer and Pisces would be the most emotional and the most existential ones in the corner. All right. We don't want to disturb them. They're probably the one-on-ones. It's okay. So you go back inside. You go back inside and you're surprised. You're surprised because Leo's not the center of attention anymore. And you're like, who took Leo's spot? And you realize there was that one introvert who was like, no, I'm not really a person. And then all of a sudden, they're probably the best singer. They're probably the best dancer. They're probably become the center of attention, even though they didn't really mean to. And you realize it was Scorpio. Scorpio's like, no, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. No. And then you're like, Scorpio, I want you to sing. And they're like, no, I'm not going to sing. Let Leo sing. And everyone's like, Scorpio, do it. And they're like, no, I'm just gonna, oh. And you're like, oh my gosh, Scorpio can really sing. And Leo's like, oh, they're stealing my spotlight, but I also love it. But also like, let me sing with them. Let's do it. I'll harmonize. And you're like, oh, Scorpio and Leo, the most random pairing because it's an extrovert and an introvert are performing together. Kid you not. If you give it enough time, Scorpio suddenly like rises to the occasion and is like the biggest center of attention of all. In the meantime, the party has been like happening long enough that you're like kind of low on supplies. You needed someone to go do like a drink run. Virgo needed someone to go get the pizzas and whatnot. And you told one person, and you're not sure if that one person did what they're supposed to, because now that one person's sitting on the beanbag in the corner, probably looking at the board games or the puzzles. And this person already got the pizza and the drinks, but they didn't tell anyone. And when everyone's asking around, they're not really answering. But they did they did what they were supposed to. Now they're kind of in their own little world. That's Aquarius. That's totally Aquarius. Gosh, Aquarius at a party. You're like, why? Aquarius, and they're like, I love these board games. You're like, but it's not board game time. They're like, I got you the pizza. And you're like, why didn't you say, like, we were all asking you. And they're like, oh, I got it like hours ago. And you're like, wait, I mean, I can't be mad because you did what you said you're going to do, but also why didn't you tell anyone? Why didn't you get anyone to help you? Why did you? Okay. And then with that, the party ends. Everything winds down. And all of the zodiac signs start to leave. You start to leave the party and you realize you had a great time. You had a great time in this beautiful house with this amazing fire pit in the background, all this entertainment. And you kind of ask around, you're like, whose house was this? Whose party was it? Was it Libra's? Libra was like, DJ, and they're like, no, it's not Libra's party. They're like, oh, was it Virgo's? Virgo was organizing everything. And you're like, no, it wasn't Virgo's. And someone goes, well, whose party was it? And they tell you, oh, this was Cap's party. And you look at them and you're like, oh, it's really nice. Was Cap here? And they go, no, Cap wasn't here. They're like, it was Capricorn's party? They're like, yeah, it's Capricorn's party. It's Capricorn's house. It's Capricorn's nice stuff. Cap's not here. And they're like, oh, they're working? They're like, no, they're just not here. I don't think, like, they might be asleep upstairs. They might be out. I don't know what they're doing. They're not here. It's their party. They're not here. And that's the signs, in my perspective, at a party. So, with that said, that was my fun little delve into the different signs as, I don't know, things in the real world. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We actually have a couple of awesome announcements at the end of this. One being that this Friday, there's a lot of different things. One, in the daytime, hold on, I need to pull it up. So, this Friday, there is an amazing, amazing premiere. I'm going to pull it up right now. Wait, wait, wait for it. It's coming here. Bam. Oh, you can't see this. It's all up in the way. Yay! The premiere of John's music video. I know it said 6 a.m. on the advertisement, but it premieres on his YouTube channel at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is on the way, and it is the music video story of how he proposed to my sister. Y'all, I was there for this, and then even watching the footage back, like, I cry every time. It is so beautiful. And of course, you all know John Robert Hall's music is just so stinking good. Every time he comes out with a new song, I'm like, I'm not gonna love this one just because it's John's. But then you listen to it, you're like, wow, it doesn't even sound like your other stuff. Why is it so good? He's just got good music. And y'all, this, like, tune in, make sure you're subscribed. John Robert Hall on YouTube. Subscribe to him so that you are notified when this goes live. You have to watch this video. It is absolutely stunning and so beautiful, and also shot in California. And when you watch this, you're going to be like, where in California is this? It's beautiful. It's June Lake. Also this Friday, we have my sister will be on Improve Your Improv with my bro TP. It is alumni month, and so she is the other alumni that will be dancing. So awesome. You'll actually get some really good insight from her because she doesn't freestyle like how Core does at conventions. She doesn't freestyle for, you know, the hip hop community or the community out here in SoCal. She freestyles and dances and improvs for actual jobs and gigs. So you're going to see a different version of improv or a different mindset behind it. It's very, very interesting and very, very cool. Make sure you tune in onto our Instagram this Friday at 7 p.m. Yeah, Instagram Live. It's so awesome. And even if you miss it, everything from our Insta Live goes up onto our IGTV. And so you can see all the series. You can see Hidalgo's from the last time. So good to see Brother dance. And you can also see all our other choirsmen that did it in the past months. So make sure you check out this series. Of course, on Sunday, we have good old Cokes doing Koki versus Vegetables. We were excited because he did beats on Sunday. And right before he did it, right before he left to do it, I even told him, I was like, hey, Cookie, I'm probably the one on Core who eats the most vegetables. Like, I didn't think that, but I eat some vegetables that the rest of the choirsmen won't touch. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't even like beets. And he was like, what? So it was really like mad props to Koki for eating the beets. He made them look really good too, even though like they weren't his favorite, but they looked really good. So this Sunday, Koki will do another vegetable. He's turning into such a little chef with that. So we're excited every time Koki battles the veggies. And this weekend, make sure you tune into our YouTube channel because we have 2 videos dropping. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but we have a video dropping tomorrow and another one dropping this weekend. I know we haven't been super up to date with our dancing content, but that's going to change. We also have some great announcements coming for the holiday season, like dance announcements. So stay tuned for that. And with that, that is the end of my show. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Beyond the Northern Wall. With me, your host, Kayla. Yes, vague enough for you to watch and find out, as my pointer sister would say. Now, of course, as you all know, if you were down here in the SoCal section or if you're in California, we are in purple tier for the COVID-19 virus. Just make sure you are wearing your mask. Doesn't matter what anyone else says. Wear your mask. Stay away from people. If you have to unabashedly run away from them, unabashedly run away. It's a fun game I play at work with my coworkers at Barnes & Noble. While we're working, if someone is not social distancing, we will turn tail and run. It makes it really fun because then like the whole store becomes an obstacle course, but it keeps you safe. Also, make sure you test. Testing is free, especially if you have health insurance. So make sure you're testing, making sure that you are negative for COVID-19 and you are not spreading this virus, and stay indoors when you can. Do not go out. Do not gather for the holidays. I know we want to see family during the holidays. I know we want to see friends for Thanksgiving, for Friendsgiving. Want to see family for Thanksgiving. But here's the thing. We are not beating this virus even a little bit. We literally just slightly get a couple of months of reprieve, and then we're right back in the thick of it. So your family, if you want them to be there for Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving next year, stay home, see no one. See no one. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And of course, for Black Friday shopping, you have the internet for that. And you'll probably, if you stay tuned, have a special opportunity to do some holiday shopping with your core dance crew. That was weird. With core, not with your core. Your core, with core. So we will be announcing all of that very, very soon. I hope you guys have a lovely Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. Hands out, Sotomato on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sotomato. Peace out, y'all.